Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target Master Class in Investing with Military Precision. Thank you. All right, today is July 1st, over halfway through the year. We'll go ahead and pull the main screen up for you there so you can follow along. Update on the podcast. Obviously, we have the launch today. 21 episodes are out now, so dropping 11 this morning. They're scheduled automatically, so they'll drop while we're online here. And 297 total downloads. So I do expect that to kind of explode to the upside. We shall see, but I hope to see you at the launch today. And that is going to be, again, at 6 p.m. tonight. It'll be Facebook Live. Take about 45 minutes and should be a good time to follow along. All right, for our mission objectives, we're going to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Really looking at growing our money this morning, looking at tax software companies. There's really just the two, the H&R Block and Intuit. Everybody else is much smaller out there. As far as our academic topic of the day, there is 14 days since you have to file your taxes. So I will cover some of the 2020 rules if you haven't filed yet. I personally have not. And some of the dates, and we'll talk about the coronavirus related distribution and some of the rules. If you have any questions, please populate the Q&A so we can get those answered for you. Our flow for today will be standard. It'll be long, short, open, short, long. So we will start with long-term investing stuff, talk about the short-term stuff going into the open, follow our day trades until we're done with those, and then go switch back long. If we finish a little bit early today, that would help me out with the pretty heavy to-do list with the launch coming tonight. As far as our market review, interesting moves pre-market already. Market was down almost 1%. It's almost back to even off some interesting news that just broke. We'll talk about the headline review. And then those are the two names we're going to talk about, H&R Block and Intuit, which is TurboTax. Then we'll have our execution and then the market open and Q&A. If you have any issues, I know we've had some tech support issues, so thanks for working that. It's good to see everybody in the room this morning. So again, Steve at OTOT now, if you have any issues with that, and then a standard disclaimer of this is an educational presentation. So you must do your own due diligence before you act on anything you see here. All right, let's go up to TD Ameritrade and we will cover the year in review. Really, the only thing of interest is where are we in relation to the channel all the way off to the right. And you can see we did break below the channel. And then for some reason, and I can't explain this, and I was talking to Predator about this, is why is the market going up in the past couple days? Really, the only real answer, I said no reason. That was kind of a snarky answer to you, Predator, there. But really, it's money flow. We're in the, if you've heard the TINA market, there is no alternative. You can't make money in CDs. You can't really make a whole lot of money in bonds unless you go to the investment grade, but even those are now dealing around the 4.5%, where usually you were able to get 5% or higher. So even the new issue stuff that's being issued out is more in the 4.5%. So just not a lot. Municipal bonds are paying nothing, even though they're tax free. So it's really when that money is like water, right? It has to go somewhere. When it sloshes out of the market like it did in March, there's still a lot of money that needs to come back in. So that's my take on why the market's moving up. And we did get some good news in this morning with the jobs number, and we'll see. We'll probably be in the green by the time we make it there. All right, let's focus in on the past 5 days. Obviously, you know, Wednesday and Friday last week were your big down days. Just kind of a trickle up here in the past couple days. And you can see the big move off to the right pre-market here. That's the past, let's see, 15 minutes. That's the past hour and a half there of the pre-market. Yeah, there's big stripes up there. So we'll get to that from the headline. So looks like a pretty decent open. We shall see. Let's go over to the earnings calendar. A lot of earnings are out. And General Mills is doing well. That's a name I see there. Let's continue down. Let's see. Macy's is another story to where they actually are in better shape than they thought. They're trying to restructure some debt. So we do have some Macy's bonds that I own. There's offers out there to take those off the table. I'm not interested in that, though. We're just going to hold those. Continue on up. There's another name that I'm looking for, and I can't remember what it was. There it is. Constellation Brands, STZ, actually beat earnings, you know, with the thesis of people are staying at home. and they've got nothing better to do than drink. Well, it's also a pandemic, so you probably don't want to weaken your immune system, but that's just me. But so they did beat their earnings this morning, so you could see an expected move out of them, and we will keep an eye for STZ long. All right, let's go over to the headlines, and we'll take a look at the pre-market, barely in the red still. Once that pops up, so you can see we're down almost 1%, and now we're almost even. So let's look around the world over to Europe. Okay, in the red, about 0.5% there across the board. Let's check Asia. Kind of mixed there. Check the US from yesterday. And again, that was just why is the market going up? I don't know. When nothing else is going on, the markets go up. That's the way it kind of works. VIX did drop below 30. Remember, I said the other day I didn't expect the VIX to go below 30, and then, well, proved me wrong instantly, right? So there it is below 30, and obviously if the market finds its way into the green today, then obviously we'll continue to see the VIX sell off there. Checking bonds, I did not see any major moves from earlier, so just a little bit to the upside there. Over to oil. Sneaking back up on that $40 for a barrel of oil, so that's a good sign. Then over to gold, I saw the precious metals were all down a little bit across the board. All right, so we'll go back to the main screen and we'll talk about some of the headlines that are out there. Probably the biggest issue is the jobs number. So we'll scroll down here and see if we can find that where it pops up. There we go. So 2.37 million jobs added in June, but actually 2.5 million was the expectation there. So we kind of missed it, but that big positive revision for May, you can look at this if you want, but the May number was a negative 2 and change million number, and it turned out to be a positive 3 million number. So I mean, like a gross miss. So if you aren't familiar with these, since obviously it's July 1st and the June number just came out. So how accurate is that number? It's not, and everybody knows that, but it's something, right? So it's month just closed, you got to have something out. So they put a number out and then they revise it a month later to see how kind of accurate they were. And it's usually pretty close. I mean, these things track patterns, but yeah, they missed wildly in May. So that was kind of the good news, is that May was a lot stronger than we expected. All right, let's scroll down here a little bit. There's a Pfizer headline. I had not seen that. So we'll take a look at Pfizer long. All right, some other vaccine names. So BioNTech, not familiar with them. So the ETF inflows, if you didn't realize that the quarter we just closed out was one of the best quarters in decades from a sheer straight move up. Remember, now we had the advantage of March 23rd was the exact low. So just a few days later, you have April 1st, and that starts the quarter. So it would be a tough one to have been sitting on the sidelines this whole time, but yet people are. All right, CBL, not good. I do have a couple of those bonds out there, so let's look at CBL short. Again, mall space, not the place to be. Again, their stock is almost zero, if not zero, so we'll take a look at it. And now their bonds may be in trouble. We shall see. Okay, continuing down, I saw United had a positive headlines there about adding 25,000 flights in August. That seems pretty optimistic. I have not seen another airline make such a bold claim, if you will. Kind of want to say ridiculous, but I'll call it bold and talk about it being ridiculous later. We'll see. All right, continue to going up. Mortgage demand, I'll talk about that real quick, falls for the second straight week. So if you've been in the process of refining or anything like that, it's been kind of a pain. It's been taken more than 4 weeks. It's been taken out to 6 weeks, especially if you're doing like a cash out refi. Well, the rates should finally come into a lot lower. You're thinking, okay, well, they came in pretty low. Well, yes, they are low, or they were low, but if you're holding out for the best rate, you might want to wait, or if you're in the process of a refi, you might want to have them check for a lower rate, because now that the demand is actually decreasing the second week in a row. Now the banks are starting to compete more for those loans. Before they didn't have to. So we could even see the interest rates come down a little further. Okay, there you see the headline, tech had its best quarter since 1999. We do know how that story ended, though. I don't think we're in the same boat, but when you do get comparisons to tech from 99, 2000 was not exactly a banner year, unless maybe you were shorting. All right, let's see. That's all right. Pizza Hut, largest U.S. franchises, files for Chapter 11. Pizza Hut's part of Yum Brands, so we shall see. And Beyond Meat, we'll look at Beyond Meat long, based on their entry into China there. Not a huge fan of the Beyond Meat company, but they've made a ton of money, and I've missed out on it, so we shall take another look at it. Okay, let's go up a little more, see what else we have before we go over to the big board. I'll just say, since we're on taxes today, that tax saving moves you can still make, obviously, with the tax rules and everything being, almost everything, being reset to July 15th. If you haven't contributed to 2019 IRAs, things like that, you still have time to fix that. Or if you over contributed, I worked with somebody yesterday on that, you have time to unwind that. That's no big deal. But you have until the 15th to do that, so it's time to get on it. Okay, let's roll up to the Schwab board, and we'll take a look at two names this morning long. Again, it's why would we invest in tax companies? Well, in tax season, sometimes these things jump up, but I was going to bail on this and talk about something else, but I was so shocked by H&R Block. Look at how it's been hit, and it has not recovered at all. So we're going to swing over. So we'll talk about these two, then we'll swing to FinViz and look at H&R Block. But H&R Block really down at 14, and you'll see in FinViz that they have a 7% dividend. I don't like to do value investing, or dumpster diving, as I like to call it. I like to stay with best of breed, which you see on the Intuit chart, more of a typical recovery story that you've seen from, the bounce from the March 23rd lows. So if you were to get in best in breed here, definitely into it. But let's take a look at the ratios for HRB. So switching over to FinViz now, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So when you see a PE that's negative down in the lower, the second column over there, you see that 150. They're barely profitable, so that's like they're fractionally profitable. And then their forward P is 6.3 though, so it means like they're returning. So maybe they had a big write-off or something that affected their balance books. So the 7.28% dividend is kind of attractive. Looking over at the short float, 12%, not out of control. I don't know. I do not know what is going on with H&R Block. When you look down at the bottom, about they've had a couple of upgrades. They're getting upgraded right in the middle of COVID, so that obviously wasn't the best time to put out some upgrades. We'll continue to scroll up, see if they're in the news at all. Hedge funds are cashing out of H&R Block. That's not a headline you want to see if you're thinking about investing in them. All right, maybe the dividend's in trouble. That's the only thing I can think of there is why the stock hasn't recovered. So, all right, well, we will leave that and go back up to the main. So the point of the story is you can get into it. Obviously, that's QuickBooks in addition to TurboTax as well. And there's another one, Mint, I believe, is their third one as part of that ecosystem. I don't use Mint, but I use the other two. Pretty good stuff. Intuit kind of has their game plan, and their virtual help and stuff is all pretty good. Okay, so we'll leave that behind and go look at the other tabs. Let's see some names that we looked at. Let's look at STZ, which is Constellation Brands. All right, closed at 175, gapping up to 180. That's a couple of percent. Again, that's an earnings play, so we'll keep an eye on that. Not in love with it as far as a trade, but I like it. Okay, let's look at Pfizer long, PFE. Again, this was a vaccine name, so I would expect to see it move up a little bit. So 32 up to 34. So that would be an option. I kind of like the entry point in the 30s better than up in almost 200 with Constellation Brand. We've seen that if you have them that high, you have to go $2 on the stop or so. So Pfizer long on vaccine has potential. Let's go CBL short and see if the stock is above 10 cents. Hey, it is. It's down at 26 cents. This is a little too close to zero to be able to touch. Once you get down this low, a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want to sell it here because it used to be at $10 and I can't stomach the loss. I'm not mature enough to admit that I'm wrong and that it has no future, but it kind of has no future. But really, when you look at being able to short into this, you just don't have enough room to run for your 3 Rs. So you'd have to go like 2 cents. Not my game. You could probably play it if you got really focused in on it, but I would just say pass. And Beyond Long, so BYND for Beyond Meat and their entry into China. That's a pretty good story. You would think they would see a pop, and they do. 133 up to 146. So what's that? Probably 6, 7, maybe 8%. Trying to steal it off a chart somewhere. There it is, 9.35%. So not bad. I'll take that. And so, yeah, that's a pretty good long story. And China is not small. As you know, I like a coffee shop over there. While we have it up, FedEx is up 11%. So that's an earnings play. So we'll take a look at FedEx long. And yeah, gosh, look at the move in FedEx. I do consider FedEx best of breed over UPS. You could argue that, but it had the large move yesterday. So this would be a continuation. Boy, that would be tough. So it moved up before earnings, and now it's moving up again. It's a long for sure, but I don't know that you'd get enough. I don't know if it's got another $6 up or so there. Okay, let's look at TA, which is Travel Centers of America. I didn't know that. Learned something today. TA short on stock offering, and shutting down dining rooms. Maybe, let's see, 15 down to 14. Yeah, that's a decent move. Certainly kind of an ugly chart. We'll keep it in mind. Go to another screen. We'll check the market real quick while we're looking through this first tab here and see if the market, yeah, the Dow and S&P are up in the green. NASDAQ will shortly follow. So everything's going to open in the green and probably trend up again. So again, I'd still rather be short, but realize we're fighting against the market. Okay, looking at the tab. United Airlines up 7% off of that big headline of adding 25,000 more flights. So I'm not going to take an airline long, but I couldn't blame you if you decided that was going to be your thing. Workhorse we've talked about is off 5%. That's just flopping around because it's moved up so fast, so I wouldn't touch that. But we can check back in on it just to see what it's doing. I wouldn't try to call that long or short. Pfizer we already talked about and we already looked at, up 5%. Macy's up a little bit, not enough to really worry about though. Okay, next tab. There's that BioNTech. They were also, we'll pull them up. I haven't pulled that stock before. BNTX, they're up on vaccine news. So from 66 to 72, that's a nice pop and a nice move up over several days. Vaccines can obviously make things move. That's how I got the big move out of Inovio. So if you feel like taking a vaccine play, that would be an option. UPS, I saw that in the chat. Yep, up 5%. So basically following what FedEx is doing. In this case, I would always take the earnings play versus the shadow play, right? So the one that actually beat the earnings, not the one that is now anticipated to beat earnings because their primary competitor just did. Constellation, not a whole lot of move up there. Just a little bit. There's our Beyond Meat up 10%. They were up 11% earlier, so keep an eye on that. There's our FedEx up at 12%. All right, let's go to the decliners, see if we can find something to pick off here and see if we can find the gapping down list. We just talked about Inovio, INO, to the downside. That's not good. Maybe it's money flushing out of them into other vaccine type names. Looking for gapping down. Let's click on Novavax. No news. I'm just looking for the gapping. Click that top one, the NetEase. I know there's not enough volume. I'm just seeing if I can get the gapping down thing to pop up, which I'm not going to get, evidently. All right. No volume really in the rest of that. Zoom's up at 250. Not much of a move down there. Okay, so don't see a whole lot on the short side. So again, CBL is kind of too small to take, and the only other one I have is TA, and again, that's from Predator. So we shall see. All right, let's go to the green side here. FedEx, we've talked about. Pfizer, we've talked about. UPS, yes. Spirit Airlines up 5%. Again, that's shadowing. I think we get a lot of travel names probably shadowing the United call. You see the cruise lines and airlines as well. Go back to Capri Holdings under the hammer there. That's a luxury food. I'm sorry, luxury retailer. It's Michael Kors as well as some other names. They're gapping up. I'm trying to find some good news out of the 70% plunge in Q1 revenue headline. There's the down gappers though. I do like it since it was probably gapping down and it just reversed when the overall market's green across the board now. So let's pull up that SCS, gapping down 10%. I am not familiar with that name. Steel case, that doesn't help me any. From 12 to 11, I like the 10% down. I like the numbers, and I like that chart. So this is one of those where you're kind of looking at something fundamentally. Q1 miss, so you do have that set up. The only thing you don't have is the volume. The volume's sitting there at 5,000, so you wouldn't want to take this out of the gate. But SCS is something that I may look at a delayed entry on. We shall see. So pretty much all of your travel going long. Don't get much else out of this chart. Let's go to the last tab. Yeah, as far as the long, I'm thinking BioNTech or Pfizer are probably your best bets because you can get a full 3R move out of a biotech where I just don't see it out of the travel names long. JetBlue in the mix. Penn National Gaming, gapping up 6%. The only thing I've seen, pull that up, see if there must be a headline. Partnership, sports betting with a company I've not heard of, Sport Trader. Okay. To use official NFL data, that's publicly available. Don't know what they're getting at there. Even the stat stuff, there's a special login you can use to get some really in-depth stats, but everything that you would normally use is publicly available. So I don't see that. Let's look at Plug Power. That's a name that creeps in every now and then, PLUG. So that's on the rise. I think I want to say Predator took Plug long not too long ago. 821 up to 864, nice 5% move. It's got the volume to support it. So we'll keep it in the cross check, not in love with that. I wrote down Penn Gaming long, something we'll cycle back to. All right, that's about it. We're not pulling much out of there and nothing I'm really excited about, to be honest. So let's go over to TD Ameritrade. We'll set up our screen with a SPY all the way on the left, and then we'll put, let's see, put TA as a short on the left SCS is a short in the middle. And then we'll put Pfizer long, PFE, on the right. And if you guys obviously take another trade, actually, let's get rid of, since volume isn't there on SCS, let's get rid of that and put the other biotech, BNTX, in the middle. And we'll see how these things are setting up. Okay, Predators into TA short. I think I'm going to take one of these two biotechs long, probably BioNTech. Not in love with anything else, so it's really more of a lack of liking anything else. And the shorts just, I don't know, SCS with low volume would be a dart throw. We don't want to throw darts. So let me get my trade entered here on BNTX. Boy, I need almost a $3 stop to cover all of that. That's a terrible entry. Pull Pfizer back up on the right. Don't really like that. Pull up, let's see some other names. Let's see where Workhorse is, WKHS. You can leave, sorry, my trade's in BNTX is what I'm looking at, BNTX in the middle. And then on the right, let's put Workhorse, WKHS. Not moving too much. Shell, SHLL. Gonna come in some, and then Blink, BLNK. Blink sold off pretty hard yesterday. Again, it was up at 6. I'm a proud owner of some $6 shares. So down at 450, not too happy about that. Let's check out Luckin. It may not be trading pre-market. Not moving much. That's up. I'm gonna, yeah. You can put INO in the middle for burner. I see what you're doing there now. I will do, yeah, LKNCY long. This will not be a hero trade, but I'll try to keep it in the green. LKNCY long. And there's not a headline necessarily, but this is, you know, day 3 of it being back alive on the over the counter, and basically moving up over 100%, almost 150% in 2 days. So that's kind of a ride the wave type trade. Got a minute 40 to figure out my stop on it. So right there would be a 10-cent stop from where it is that hold down all the way to 237. So I will go with LKNCY long, 10 cents. I'll take it at the open. We'll probably regret that decision, but if it's going to move, I think it'll need to go right at the open. And then I'm out at, we'll give it the full 20. Full 20. So there are my trades in. We have 50 seconds to go. And we'll see how these things set up. So I'm in at the open. Let's see. Nobody else is in at the open, so we'll watch Luckin from the get-go, kind of checking the market. Looks like the market's about flat now, so it's been recovered from those earlier losses, but we'll see. Again, after 2 up days, we could see the market come in some in the red. That would not surprise me. So 2 shorts and a long. So it would help you guys out. All right, 5 seconds, still Luckin opens here. I'd be thrilled if it opened. Okay, 247 is where it opened. Tried to knock me out already in the first, second of trading, but it held 237 there for now. So that's kind of nice. And we'll see as the volume comes rushing in. You saw, I mean, look at that big volume spike there at the bottom again. It's because it's hardly trading in all pre-market. So that's why you saw that big move there. So that's kind of sitting there even. Let's see, TA setting up nicely as far as a short. You want to see it back up like that. And let's see, you said at 2 minutes, that might prove wise. An OVO is not bouncing a whole lot. Well, there it's coming back up, setting up for you. So that'll be nice. We'll zoom in on that a little bit. So next up will be Burner's entry here in 5 seconds. So we'll get that ready to go. And again, it'll be an INO short. All right, 22.78. So you get all the way up to 23.28 for your 50-cent stop. And that trade just busted. So it touched all the way up to 23.30. So that one kind of got knocked out. Luckin's looking good. Like that start. So you're already looking at 1R in Luckin. We'll see if that holds. Kind of a nice setup there for TA short. I like that it's tried to go higher. There's nice big dojis there, and then it's kind of sitting back down. So we'll see what kind of entry you get here in 10 seconds. You got to like that move up for the Predator's entry. It's a 20-cent stop. So yeah, that's a pretty good real world entry there at 14.15. 14.15 on TA with the upper stop off the chart at 14.35. So that's nice and safe. So yeah, as long as that starts on a move down there, that would be nice. So marking your 3R to the down point would be 60 cents. So 14.35, yep, is your upper stop. So you've got that. And then what's that down to 45? Can't do math this morning. 14.15, so 45.55. So it'd be 13.55 would be your 3R point. So we got some 1R moves going there. All right, let's see over in Luckin. I think we've already got our 3R, so 245, 275. That's the 3R point in Luckin. So Luckin would have worked this morning and we'd be out of that. Now, when you think of if you happen to be sitting on a massive amount enough of shares, you got to like that move well as far as the trade. I did set it up so it cooks the full 20 minutes. I do obviously have high expectations for Luckin, already up 20% on the day after being up 50% yesterday. Novio is just continuing to fail. So don't really know the scoop there on why that would have failed so badly. But you got to like the move in TA. That's really the entry you're looking for. If you were to take that real time, you probably couldn't have taken it at 14.15, but you certainly could take it at 14.12 on the way down. So that's a more realistic entry point of kind of getting a little further away from the stop there, from that double top, and then it comes in and then take it, hoping for the stripe down. But look off to the left though. Look what the market's doing. The market's up over 0.5% across the board. So obviously that's going to help out longs like Luckin, which is now up at above 4R. Point up at 285, and that's going to make it tougher for TA to continue to sell off short. We'll look at some other names. We'll give up on Inovio, so we use the middle chart. We'll look at Constellation Brands, STZ in the middle. So 183. So that's you'd have a $2 stop, so it'd be kind of in the green for an R there, or maybe not even quite an R. Pfizer, we already know about. Yeah, Pfizer, there we go. Yeah, gosh. Yeah, if you took a setup there for long after that double bottom at the 1 and 2 minute point, I wouldn't like the way it's backing up. Wouldn't be too excited about that. We'll come back to that, see if it works. Let's check out CBL. Can it get below 25 cents today? Nope, not even trying. So we wouldn't touch that. Beyond was a long name. I considered this because of the entry into China. So certainly if you had taken it yet, you'd already be out. Could you take it here? Not with a move like that. Boy, That's a 5 straight minute move, $3 down. I hear the chants in the background, go luckin, 5 R's. Keep it going, bro. Um, again, I think everybody in the room has reasons to cheer long for luckin. All right, let's check out FedEx in the middle. Nice. FedEx long. So after the beat, they were up 10% pre-market. Again, tough to take that entry there because it didn't back up at all. But certainly, if you believed even at a $2 stop, you would be you'd be about a 2R point for that trade. And look at that. I mean, it's pretty optimistic for for FedEx. It is best of breed, but lucking above $3, that's 6R there at 305. In case you're wondering, you're probably going to continue to hear updates from me on that. TA is backing up there, or it's working. You got about half an hour, and it's kind of, even with the market going up, it's still finding its way down. So that looks like it's going to be a decent trade. Let's check out UAL long. Yeah, you could have taken that at the 2-minute point as it came back north, maybe in around 36.80 or so. And if you got that entry, you would have had a 40-cent stop. So about 20, 37. Yeah, it's a 3R trade. Taking it, I would not take an airliner or a cruise liner or any of these fools. But you certainly could. It had the setup. Let's look at BNTX. Again, this is kind of the second choice. That's 7R now in Luckin. 35% move on the day. All right, why is that stopped? Let's zoom out on BNTX. Maybe you just did, but just give her a one. Yep, okay, you're already out. So, yeah, it stopped. BNTX is halted. So we'll confirm that on another screen. It's showing a 7,180, okay. 7% pre-market. I don't know why that's hitting a halt trigger. Maybe there's a backstory there. We shall see. We'll come back to it. Let's look at SCS. This is steel case. It was short. It was kind of the perfect chart setup for a short. That is not. Backed up over $1. Now, if you're a delayed entry and you're looking at that, you could wait for it to come down to. I couldn't take it at 12.10 on the way down because it was too ugly out of the gate. But right around 12 or so, if you sat there with a 40-cent stop, you could realistically get down to 10.8 or so. That would be a 3R trade. So I kind of like, about 10.8 or so. That would be your point that you would be able to get 3Rs out of that. So we can check back on that. Plug was a long name that took a look at. So let's take a look at that. Again, Plug Power. About a 14-cent move. And then down. Yeah, market's coming back in. So that's dragging the luckin down. That's just profit taking. When something goes up 35%, just to, what's that, 6 minutes, 7 minutes? Yeah, there's people taking profit there. The story remains along for Luckin. Okay, let's pull up Penn Gaming, PENN. This was the partnership to use with Star Power or something, Sport Track, some catchy name. So obviously got a big move up, 32 to 32.90. You might have, if you were using a 30-cent stop, you would have gotten a 3R trade out of that. Would have been a nice move. All right, we are going to come back to, let's look at SCS again and where I drew those lines. With the market coming short, that never did hit the 12, which would have been my entry point. So we'll bail on that. And then we were going to look at, we were coming back to BNTX to see if it's trading yet. All right. Market now is coming back higher as far as the overall, so we don't know what's going on there. So we'll leave BNTX up. Well, we'll go off to another chart. And let's see, Apex out of his trade at 5 minutes, so we're well past that. So it looks like you get half an R, if I'm seeing that right. We'll fine tooth that if luck completely reverses itself. So there, 1404, yeah, about maybe 0.6 R. So nice trade. I would look at that. You just got your just got a 2R move in the last couple of seconds there. So look at that striping down. So yeah, if you were to take this real money, which you said you didn't, you'd have to love that move because you're 2R into the green there. So that's a heck of a stripe. All right, let's switch over to charts and we will take a look at what's going on in the real world. There you have your luck in top of the leaderboard, 26. Very nice. Delta, Constellation, Southwest, Twitter. Don't know of anything particular going on there other than they're caught up with Facebook on the anti-hate crime stuff. Not hate crime, hate speech, excuse me. Boeing continuing up again, obviously had a huge move up yesterday. That's good to see. Northwest Bio in the news, gotta like that. Disney actually getting some love. I'm very shocked about Disney being up 3%, especially with the second wave upon us, if you will. Tesla up 2.5%. If you click the main layout over here, I want to see what Tesla's at. Kind of crazy. 1110 for Tesla, so up over $1,100. Just keeps going up. It's still a short. And with that comment will cost you a lot of money if you listen to me keep saying that, but eventually it will be a short. All right, let's look at the downs or what's going down in today's market. BLNK off 18%. So clearly, if you entered that yesterday, you're not thrilled about that. Workhorse coming in. Shell's probably coming in too. I don't see it popping up there because I don't own any. That's why. Put Shell, SHLL, in the big screen there. Down 2.5%. So they're not exactly all trading together, but those names do tend to trade together. All right. So other than the couple of big moves down out of major players, we can go back to the long side, and then we can go back to the chart for the day trades. All right, I'll catch up in the chat. Yeah, it's disappointing, but yeah, there's your 3R though. I mean, if you were taking a real trade, that's about as perfect as it can get because you got it backed up nicely there pre-market and backed up nice to that top where you get the entry and then it goes down from there. So you can't complain about that. All right, Pfizer looking good. Let's put Pfizer in the middle. That maybe might have looked good earlier. I don't know if I'd take that entry. That's 7-8 minutes into it. I like kind of that 3 to 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes kind of entry if you're going to go long. Gotcha. I hear you now. Okay, that's really it out of the chat. All right, let's go to the Luckin's hanging out around $3. Let's go down to the markets up 0.5% across the board. We're going to go down to Chrome. We're going to take a look at what you need to know about your 2020 taxes. Okay, we'll scroll up a little bit. Remember, the CARES Act is the one that changed some rules. So July 15th is the big date out there. Stimulus payments are tax-free. It's also a refundable tax credit, but nobody here has that issue. All right, continue up. Yep, let's review the key takeaways there. You can bring those to the top. Charitable contributions changed a little bit, so you get 300 above the line, so it's not a lot, but it's something. All right, let's click on the other, let's see, the CARES Act. Investopedia CARES Act, if you can pull that up. It's that one. All right, we'll scroll down a little bit and check this out. So I was looking for the Corona-related distribution. So again, you can raid your 401k and your IRAs up to 100,000, and the tax issues with that. If you were to do that out of a traditional, which a lot of folks are saying, well, can I take the money out and then convert it to a Roth? You'd still owe all those taxes. So realize if it's traditional, and you pull money out, you now have to start either filing for all the tax in the first year, even if you plan on paying it all back, you still have to file the taxes and then get refunded. So there's kind of a trick, or you can take it equally over 3 years. So, all right, I think that's all I've got for today. We'll keep an eye on Luckin to make sure my trade stays in the green, and I'll close that out on time. But I'll declare myself the winner on that, and we'll close out a little bit early today so I can get off to some other stuff. But we do have the big 6 p.m. tonight. We have the launch party for the podcast. Should be kind of fun. So if you can tune in on Facebook, hope to see you there. If not, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.